Hello guys, welcome to Visordown. My name is Alex, and behind me we have the Energica Experia, brand new for 2022, and we're in beautiful sunny Italy in the Dolomites, riding around the Alps near Austria, and it's been an absolutely incredible little ride. It's only been around 60 kilometers today. We have stopped riding this for the first morning, and then we're going to be moving on to some of the other Energica models. So it's going to be the Ego, it's going to be the SS9, and it's going to be the Eva Rebelle R, or the Eva Rebelle, that I rode last year. So if you want to find out more about that, go to visordown.com and have a read. But what we're all here for is the Experia. It's a brand new touring model from Energica, and it's really surprising what it can do on the road. They've basically put a brand new battery pack into this one, and it's the biggest battery that you'll find on the motorcycle electric world, and it's 22.5 kilowatt hours. They've restricted the top speed of this one, so it only goes up to 112 miles per hour, which for me on the road is plenty, but it does mean that you get as much range as possible out of this machine. The quoted top figure is 260 miles, and the sort of quoted minimum figure, if you're really pushing it up on the back roads and twisties and going as fast as possible, is around 130 miles. I will mention that they said that despite the fact that this battery is the biggest one you'll find in the motorcycle world, they have made it lighter than some of the other batteries that they've had on the Eva Rebelle and the Ego, as far as I'm aware anyway. So how much is the Experia? Well, it's around 25,590 euros. Then you add your VAT on top of that. It's the same price, like base price, across the whole of the world, other than the US, where it's marginally cheaper. And if you convert that with your VAT on top, you're looking at around about £25,000, probably 26, 27, depends on the exchange rate, which is always changing, so you never know. But you expect to pay around about £27,000. And for this, if you've got the money, I think that's a very good bargain. But let's dive into a little bit more about the bike and how I felt on the road with it, and then we can continue from there. So first things first, I've already mentioned a little bit about the battery, but just to cover the last few bits off, if you were to get this one plugged in on the fast charge, you get around about 240 miles per hour that is plugged in, and that's on the fastest DC charge that you can get. If you have it on an AC charge, so just plug it in at home on the wall socket, it will be around 8 hours from 20 to 100%. So if you ride in this around and you stop for a quick bite to eat, you probably want to plug it into a fast charger just to get as much percentage as possible. If you are using this as a daily runner and then you charge it overnight, 8 hours is more than adequate, because you're going to probably pull in, plug it in, and then it'll be ready for you when you go away in the morning. Let's jump into the motor on this one. Now, this is an absolute word soup of a motor. Now, let me read it back out to you. It's a permanent magnet assisted synchronous reluctance motor, shortened to PMA SYN RM, which to me, gobbledygook. It's a 306 volt nominal, and it's got around about 102 brake horsepower peak. In terms of newton meters of torque, it's ridiculous. It's 115 newton meters, and to the rear wheel, it's 900 newton meters of torque, which you can feel on the road as well with the one gear. Twist the throttle and open it up fully, and it's like light speed. You just go into hyperdrive and off you go. Of course, it's near enough completely silent. You do have a little bit of whirring from the motor, and you can hear the gears going for it. Other than that, it's pretty much silent. So you have no sort of reference point when you are really pushing on, because you don't have any noise. You're just happily cruising away with next to no noise at all. We did pass some horses on the route here, and they were just happily looking at me strolling by. They were not disturbed at all. And to be fair, didn't even wear earplugs, and it was fine. You do have 7 rider modes on this one. There's 4 preset modes. You've got some urban modes. You've got some modes that you can adjust. You can adjust the engine braking power. You can adjust the traction control. And ultimately, there's quite a lot of configurability that you can adjust what you want out of the bike. On these twisty roads, especially going downhill, I have the engine braking on 3. So 0 is where it's like a little bit on, but not much. 1, 2, and 3, with 3 being the peak. And I found the most out of 3 because you've got a little bit more response, especially mid-corner when you're turning in. 3 is the way to go for me. But if you want to chill on 1 and 2, it will do that too. I will just throw in this regenerative braking as well. So going down the hills, if you've got engine braking on 3, it will be slowly ticking up the charge. And mentioning the battery, we set off, I was on around 97%, and finishing our 60-kilometer ride, I finished at 70%. So around about 30% of the battery, and you get 60 kilometers. Again, we were doing quite a lot of stop-start and speed riding in the roads. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw a few bits of spec at you and you can get what you want out of it. In terms of weight, it's 260 kilograms. It is quite heavy. You do feel it mid-corner, especially turning in, but once you get used to that extra little bit of weight, it's really nice and really responsive to ride. And I very much enjoyed this on the endless switchbacks. It was great fun. Next up, the seat height, 847 mil. Very comfortable for me. I sort of stood next to it here and I jumped straight on it. Of course, I'm quite a tall rider, I've got tall limbs, and it's a very comfortable place to be. Arms out in front of you, happy days, cruising all day long until you need to recharge. Panniers and top box. Because this is a Tourer, you get 112 litres of storage. Of course, the left and the right panniers are going to be the same size because there's no exhaust to account for. Okay, next up, brakes. At the front, you've got 330mm twin Brembo discs. At the rear, you've got a single disc, which I believe is around 240mm. There we go. So the Brembos are great, honestly. You push on and it's a really soft initial application, but as you apply more pressure and squeeze onto the brake, it does really slow you down quickly. If you're going heavy into a corner, you've got Bosch cornering ABS as well, so the ABS will help you out. The rear brake is a little bit less responsive. I felt like you really have to push that to get anything out of it. And if you push it too hard, the ABS does start to click in a little bit. But it didn't click in to ruin the party at all. I was having great fun. Next up, the wheels. 17-inch front and rear, and they're Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2 hoops. Really grippy, felt loads through them. Suspension, you've got a upside down fork at the front and it's 43mm. It's from ZF Sachs. I won't lie, I've not heard much from them before at all, but the ride, 150mm travel, really nice and responsive, especially mid-corner. If you tip it in and you need to sort of sharpen up the corner, there's no diving, there's no sort of vagueness through the suspension. It's really responsive and you can push out with that single gear and just hammer on down the road. The rear, you've got a single shock and it's got 150mm travel as well. Both front and rear are preload, compression and damping adjustment and rebound. So it's fully adjustable front and rear, so you can really dial it into yourself, your passenger, and any luggage you may have on with you as well. It's not electronic suspension, that would be a nice touch, but can't have them all. One thing that I did notice I didn't quite like is that there's no handbrake. If you have it in neutral when you park up, it's just gonna roll away. You can't put it in first gear, you can't put a handbrake on, so you're gonna have to make sure that you've got some chocks, some rocks, something that you can slide under the tires to stop it from rolling away, or just really tuck it in somewhere that if it does roll, it's just gonna stop instantly. I would like to see a handbrake on this, or just something that can apply the brake on whilst you leave it, but you know, there we go. Lastly, before I wrap this one up, charging goes in here. You can see the little opening port. And the front display, it's a 5-inch TFT dash, very nice and visible. You've got heated grips up there as well, and the modes you can flick through and get through really nicely. It's really intuitive, and once you know what you're doing, very easy to use. As I say there, you can settle your engine braking, your traction control as you're riding. You can change your mode once you stop, and you can flick through and select what mode you want and get it in exactly how you want it to be. There's also cruise control, and that works by putting a little bit of brake on to maintain a constant speed, I believe. So this is the Energica Experia. As I say, it's been a fantastic day riding this one around in the Dolomites, Italy, and if you're looking for a place to go ride, I think this is it. Beautiful, honestly beautiful. In terms of the bike itself, it is a little bit pricey. It is an electric bike, and if you can get over the sort of hurdles of recharging and the battery, you'll have a good time on this. If you want to get one of these on the road yourself, they're going to be available, as far as I'm aware, from autumn 2022, and this launch edition is available in this one solid colour, which is very multi-strada-esque in terms of its shape at the front especially, but it's very nice, it's a beautiful bike. I will say that the bike price itself at around £25,000 to £27,000 does secure its place as a premium bike, but it does return as a premium bike as well. Of course, you're going to be buying this and knowing that you're investing into a changing market where in 3 years' time, the battery development and technology may well have advanced loads, or it may be just marginally better. But either way, as a bike now here today, incredible fun. Very, very easy to ride, very just comfortable, and a nice tourer. So in any case, thank you very much for watching. Whilst you're already here and you've already made it all the way to the end of the video, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think, and stay tuned for more from Visordown. I've always said ciao at the end of videos, and we're in Italy, so ciao. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.